Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Good morning. It's early March of 2021, and I wanted to have a kind of a cautionary video on currency trading today. This is a currency trading channel, but I got to make it pretty clear that of all the things that I've been involved in my life, software engineering, martial arts for 50 years, software engineering for 33, real estate investment for 40. I've been involved with studying the currency markets since 2007 and actually been trading since 2017, late 2017, 2018, and doing a lot of analysis and stuff. And you know, I didn't start out with the currency trading to trade. I was interested in the currency markets. I heard about them, and so I spent years and years doing them as a more as an academic exercise. I just did a video explaining that without really the intent of trading, and I got into trading. So my interest in the trading primarily was an academic interest, and then after running computer simulations and all that stuff, I thought, wow, you know, you could make a lot of, if you knew what you're doing, you could make a lot of money doing this. As you can identify in a lot of the things that you have as your career. You know, you pick out something that you're good at, whether that's being an architect or auto mechanic or, you know, whatever it is. You have an interest in that thing and you go, wow, can I turn that interest into an income so I can have a job that I enjoy? And so the decision was made, well, let's take these technical things that I've learned, these processes, and apply them to the currency markets. Not only the process of learning from the currency books and all the other crap that I've wasted my time doing, but also all the life experience. Let's apply these rules, because everything is rule based. Let's apply these rules into this currency market and see what we can do. And I'm still struggling with that because I am very rule based. I'm very mechanical in evaluating situations. You do that you have to do that in real estate. You can't fall in love with investment property. It either meets the criteria to make money or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, you look at the next one. But in currency trading, there was always in the background of the educational resources out there, there were a few voices that said, hey, you better watch out for your emotional state in your trading. You better watch out for your personality. You better watch out for the three things of hope, fear, and greed, because those things will act against you even to a higher degree than not understanding a Bollinger Band or, you know, whatever thing that you're using. And as a rule-based person, I kind of discounted that advice. I should have paid more attention to it. Look, I've spent 50 years in the martial arts. That's that's fair. That's all that is. And emotion and personality and all that sort of stuff. Well, how could that possibly affect your currency trade? Well, even if you're just getting into it and you've done 5 trades, you understand that when you push the bid-ask, your roids flare, right? Whether you win or whether you lose, it's an emotional thing. Can you separate that emotion from the trading? Well, the folks that are trying to sell you these stupid robots would tell you that that's the case. The unfortunate thing is that robots don't work all the time. When they work great, and then when the market changes, then you lose all your money. And you can do research on that and study it, but they don't work. And signal services don't work, and you actually have to do your work. You have to understand how to trade. And I have come to find and appreciate, even though I read Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone, a long time ago, where he directly applies it to trading itself. The impact of that didn't really hit me until I found several weaknesses in my trading. They're certainly not based on my rules and all that other stuff. They're based on my emotions, my personality. And I make an error. For example, I have a tendency to let a loser run, and instead of letting the profit run again, I let the loser run, because I'm basing it on hope. Well, the trade entry was good, I believe in it, and so it'll come back, and I'll bump up to a higher time frame, and oh yeah, it hasn't hit the 55 period moving average yet, so maybe it'll just do a mean reversion and everything will be okay. Well, most of the time it isn't okay. And then when it does become okay, the times that it didn't become okay aren't, I don't know, they don't register for some reason. And so I keep repeating that particular, there's a few more that I need to work on. But developing a mechanical rule to solve an emotional problem doesn't work. You know, you can say, and I've just kind of discovered this because I'm still faulting on some of these things. You can't say, for example, if you have an emotional tendency to let the price run against you, oh well, I'm just going to set a stop, because that doesn't work. That doesn't get at the root of the problem. You know, that's like saying, if I break my arm, to avoid that, I'll wear play hockey. I'll wear an plastic arm protector. But in the heat of the game, you're swinging around and you break your leg. So having a specific rule to try to solve a generic problem, which is exacerbated by the fact that it is an emotional issue that you're trying to solve with a mechanical response, is not feasible. I'm here to tell you that. I've been doing this a long time, and you're not going to resolve it that way. Now, in being recently faced with one of those situations and saying, well, I would never do that again. That's what I said, 3 months before. Oh, I would never let that happen again. Well, yeah, you let it happen. So the question isn't, how do you put mechanical protective devices up? How do you prepare yourself psychologically so that when that particular event happens, you don't get the same emotional reaction, which is, oh, I hope it comes back. And so I can't tell you how to do that. I have processes that I'm beginning to try to implement now in order to counteract that. But that I'd be offering you financial advice, trading advice, and that's not the purpose of my channel. It's to share thoughts with you of trading methodologies and processes that make sense where there's so much useless chatter in books, and particularly out on the internet in videos and courses and all this other stuff. And I've gone over that ad nauseum in other videos. I'm not going to repeat that here. But it's an awareness that I think you need to have before you bid ask as to what your emotional weaknesses are. Where do you break down psychologically? I will guarantee you that you will not learn that in a simulated market. That isn't going to happen. So if you're trading in a simulated market and you're coming into a real market, none of that is going to, none of what you did in the simulated market is going to count when you go into the real markets. The only purpose for a simulated market is to learn the mechanics and the plumbing of trading, how to execute trades, run your trading platform, and pick some kind of a trading system that generally makes sense, that won't lose too much money. Open a $1,000 live account, trade mini lots, and maybe have to reload that account a couple of times, and making the mechanical mistakes and learning how to solve those. But you will run into the emotional problems and the psychological issues, but generally you're not going to recognize them as psychological problems. You're just going to say, boy, I was stupid. I was really fucking stupid when I did that. No, you weren't. You were reacting based on your inherent makeup as a human being, as a person. And those caveman, woman instincts that we have for survival in the tundra, the implementation of the survival is different than how you would do it in different. How maybe a caveman is going to react to his fear of the bear or the lion. That fear resolution is different for him than it needs to be for us in currency trading. If you don't know this, pay attention here, but your instincts work against you. They are counter to what needs to happen in currency trading. I'm not sure about the stock market and commodities and all that other stuff, because you will have all kinds of other characteristics in those markets. Currency markets are the safest and probably most productive of all of the financial instruments out there for various reasons. If you go to my website, longwoodcurrencytrading.com, to the currency trading menu item, I list out 7 things why I think that the currency markets are the best for us. But because they are that, and they solve all of the problems that the other markets tend to have, I think that sets us up to say, well, it's just finding the mechanical system, the magic secret juju sauce that will allow us to, turn our $10,000 account into $1 million. I think that we need to step back from that and look at how our instincts are getting in the way of that, and how we need to evaluate the impact that our psychology has on the results from the trading that we're undertaking. I would strongly advise you, if you're getting involved in this, to read Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone. And if you have been trading for a while and you still are saying, boy, that was a stupid mistake, if you say that, it's not something mechanically that you're doing. You're having a psychological burp. And so you need to go in and investigate that. Now, for the students that train with me, I've got 2 other books that are probably even better than Mark Douglas's book, because they're far more in your face about it. But I think that for everybody, not everybody is going to come and train with me, and the people that come and train with me will tend to be parallel thinking to me. As a teacher-student, I understand that from my martial arts work. I have students that have been with me for 20, 30, 40 years. And so those folks aren't with me because they're antagonistic to me. We're pretty compatible on things. And so we can work together. So the fact that somebody might get that to happen with Mark Douglas's book, that they would be able to see that and recognize it, maybe a lot of people wouldn't. And so, because I think that you may be reading it for the wrong purpose. Just reading a book on psychology is pretty numb. If you want to know about psychology, study abnormal psychology. I did that when I was in college. That's pretty fascinating stuff. But it has nothing to do with your trading. I think that if you read Mark Douglas's book as a psychology book, you're screwed. You're not going to get out of it what you should get out of it. What you should try to do is see from the examples that he's giving where you may be prone to that same thing, and then pay attention to what he's saying about the importance of recognizing the key role that your psychological makeup has in your trading. Now, the book isn't going to solve your problems. It's not a how-to guide to fix you. He's not going to fix you, and nobody else is either. You have to fix you. But if you're going to do that, you have to know what the problem is. You can't just all of a sudden be driving in your car and the front end drops down and you go, well, I wonder what that's all about. And you walk around the car and you have no clue because the first time you've been driving a car, you don't recognize it's a flat tire. You have to read the manuals, you have to go to your driving classes and understand if the front end goes down, it's probably a flat tire. And so you can look for flat tires. In fact, you can look for the tire starting to lose air and say, if that continues, I'll get a flat tire. And so to prevent that from happening, I will inject some air into that tire. And that's really what Douglas's book and all the other books that are about. They say recognize the warning signs that this is happening so that you can counteract that in some way. For some reason, I didn't do that. And probably because I approached the trading from such an academic, mechanical standpoint, I didn't need any psychology involved in it. Even when I was trading and going, boy, that was a stupid mistake, I didn't attribute that to psychological issues or emotional issues. I pretty well got a handle on my emotions and my discipline and all that stuff. I'm a very disciplined person. I spent 50 years in the martial arts. You don't get much more discipline than that, military or martial arts or something like that. You get very disciplined. It doesn't do any good because it's a different thing. Again, you get back to the instincts that we have from our ancestors are not applicable in the same manner to problem solution in trading, and in particular currency trading. So just be aware of that and try to put the air in the tire before it blows out on you or goes flat, okay? Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day. Have a great trading day.